Ghislaine Maxwell has pleaded not guilty to all federal charges accusing her of conspiring with Jeffrey Epstein to sexually abuse underage girls. Maxwell appeared remotely in front of a federal judge in Manhattan this afternoon. She is accused of working with the disgraced financier to entice, sexually abuse, and coerce underage women into sexual acts. She faces 6 separate charges, including conspiracy to entice minors to travel to engage in illegal sex acts, transportation of a minor to engage in a criminal sex act, and 2 counts of perjury. Maxwell has denied all allegations. Earlier this month, FBI agents arrested Maxwell at her New Hampshire home almost 1 year to the day after Jeffrey Epstein was taken into custody for his alleged role in the child sex ring. CBS News legal analyst Rikki Klieman joins me now. Hi, Rikki. Great to see you. So what does Ghislaine Maxwell's not guilty plea mean, and how will it impact the case against her moving forward?
We expect all criminal defendants, when they come to court, to be arraigned in order to get the process going to enter a plea of not guilty. It doesn't mean that at some later point she may decide to change her plea to guilty. But right now it starts the process. And the way the process started in court today, with a hearing that is still going on even as we speak, is that the judge was looking at scheduling, and they decided that the trial would be in July of next year. Right now they are arguing about bail or detention, which of course is the question of today.
Right. And on that topic, government officials had called for Maxwell to be denied bail earlier this week. What grounds do they have for that, and what does this likely mean for Maxwell?
The government is saying that Ghislaine Maxwell should be detained, and they have a very good case for asking for such a detention. And that's because Ghislaine Maxwell has 3 passports. They are all legitimate passports. That is, from the United States, France, and Great Britain. And of course, France does not have an extradition treaty with the United States. She also has a myriad of bank accounts. It has been said that she has as many as 15 with a considerable amount of money, up to $20 million, floating at one time or another through those bank accounts. It is said that the property that she had in New Hampshire, where she was arrested, was in fact not in her name. In addition, she has numerous contacts and connections that are on the other side of the pond, as they say, meaning not in the United States of America. Plus, you have to look, of course, at the seriousness of these crimes and the weight of the evidence. So the equities right now certainly rest with the prosecution. I wanted to add, Tanya, something that actually came as a surprise to me as I've been following the hearing in real time, albeit not in the courtroom, and there is no camera in the federal court. But that's that there was information submitted from the victims in this case. And one of those victims says that she felt in extreme danger from Ghislaine Maxwell. So that changes the equation against Ghislaine Maxwell. So they're not only looking at risk of flight, which we expected to hear today, but you've added an element of dangerousness. That's new.
Absolutely. And it's interesting also hearing you talk about her 3 valid passports, including one to France that does not have an extradition treaty. Considering the fact that officials say that she was clearly trying to evade them by buying this property not in her name, by various steps she took to sort of conceal her cell phone, wrapping it in tinfoil, they say. I'm curious why she didn't just go to France if she had that passport.
Well, that's one of the million-dollar questions, isn't it? Jeffrey Epstein was arrested a year ago in July of 2019. The writing was certainly on the wall. So that then moves the equities over to Ghislaine Maxwell's side of the ledger, because her lawyers say she could have fled. She did not flee. She chose to stay in the United States. And her lawyers claim that they got in touch with the Southern District of New York prosecutors prosecutors immediately upon Jeffrey Epstein's arrest, and that they were there to let the Southern District of New York know that if they wanted to be in touch with Ghislaine Maxwell, that the lawyers would be able to convey that message. And in addition, Ghislaine Maxwell, through her attorneys, continued to fight civil litigation in the United States. So her lawyers say to the court, there is no reason to detain her. She is not going to flee if she didn't flee already.
Right. So, Rikki, it is believed that Maxwell has information about others involved with Epstein's alleged operation. Whether she does or whether she doesn't, that is sort of there's a lot of speculation around that. With nearly a year until trial, how might this all play out in court? And, could we expect more arrests in the future? Are prosecutors after that?
Well, I would think that prosecutors who claim that they are still investigating this case would be looking for other people within the Epstein organization who participated in enticing these young women, perhaps transporting these young women, grooming these young women, or just being helpful to the enterprise, that is, pilots, drivers, etc. But the people that the government may really want are other men who may have taken the sexual favors that were offered by Jeffrey Epstein and allegedly by Ghislaine Maxwell of these young women, some as young as 14. So Ghislaine Maxwell has only three choices here, Tanya, three and no more, but three is plenty. One is fight it all and go to trial next year in July. The second is plead guilty to some or all of the counts straight up, no cooperation, put herself on the mercy of the court. Or number three, which a lot of people speculate about, which is the fact that she could agree to cooperate with the government and to give them all the information about people within the Epstein orbit, that is, those who worked in the organization, as well as other powerful men who may have, in fact, had these young women and exploited them in the same way Jeffrey Epstein did. Well, the ball is in Ghislaine Maxwell's court as to those choices.
It will be interesting to see which one of those three paths she chooses to go down. Well, Rikki Klieman, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Tanya.